Hello, I'm Glen Radojkovich, Head of School at GEMS International School. And it's my pleasure to have with me today Jennifer Aquino, who is the author of the International Family Guide to US University Admissions. It's a wonderful text that helps support students and their families in the process of university admissions, which is a challenging process for everybody. Jen is here working with GIS students this week, and so we thought we'd get her on to talk a little bit about how you at home can perhaps assist your children further and to unpack and unravel some of the mysteries around the process of university admissions. Jen's worked with hundreds of students from multiple nationalities to find top universities, but most importantly, to find the right fit. And the right fit in universities is an incredibly important thing. Jen, tell us a little bit about the process of finding fit and what a right fit means, because you hear about it a lot when people talk about universities. What is fit?
Exactly. Thanks for having me, Glenn. So fit is the most important part of the process in terms of university admissions and finding the university that is right for your child. Like any big decision in life, our decisions as human beings are based on fit. The school that you attend, GIS, the house you end up buying, the partner you end up being with, that's based on fit. And university must also be based on fit as well, because that's also how the application process works. That's how admissions officers will select then the candidates that they want to attend.
It's interesting that you speak about fit with terms of how one feels and their emotional intelligence, that sort of piece. EQ obviously is something that we focus on heavily with the IB curriculum.
Sure.
As the values embedded with the program that make a significant difference. How does EQ play a role in the university admissions process?
It's the most important part of the university admissions process that it goes from start to finish. So when I say most important part, I say self-evaluation starts in the beginning, and that means understanding who you are, embracing your strengths, really looking at the inside of where am I going to, what do I need in an institution, how do I learn best, what pedagogies are right for me, what kind of teaching styles do I want, what kind of classroom, what kind of fellow classmates do I want, what kind of environment do I want, and do I want a politically active campus, not, and so on, do I want a city, and so on. That's self-evaluation. That has to start the process, but it goes on throughout, up until the end, because just like we as adults change, adolescents change quite rapidly, and they're going through this process. It can take up to years. So
is that something that you've seen changing within universities over time? I mean, you get the sense in education, and what we've seen in education in terms of trends, is that there used to be a significant focus on IQ rather than EQ. And I think with the recognition of the importance of EQ supporting our students in success post-university in the workplace, there seems to become a bit more of a trend to acknowledge that in universities.
Absolutely.
What other trends are you seeing in universities at the moment?
So absolutely, you highlight probably the most important trend, and it obviously depends based on country, how the application process works and how they're selecting candidates. Universities really want to see, number one is the most important is grades and curriculum. IB being one of the most highly valued and recognized. But number two is really, who are you as an individual and what are you going to bring to our community?
In terms of the IB and its place, one of the challenges I guess that our parents often talk to us about in our admissions process when they're trying to examine which school to go to is the difference between IB and making decisions at 10th grade, etc., or IGCSE where they have to make decisions a little bit younger than that. What are the issues that sort of float around that particular area of subject selection?
Yeah, so, and I'll be talking about that in my seminars too. The subject selection, particularly for the IB, is, here's how I advise in sort of a global sense, because most of my students will apply to countries throughout the world. And before they select as they're selecting their IB courses, they don't know yet where they're going to apply or necessarily what they're going to study. And that's not only normal, but I encourage that because it encourages growth and open mindset. That said, students should select what they're excited about, all right? There are some programs and some universities that will have specific requirements.
Sure. Do you see that an advantage in the IB giving a little bit more time and having more breadth across the subject areas and not having to narrow quite to the same extent as A Levels, or does it make not much difference in your experience?
Vis-a-vis university admissions?
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis university admissions, if you have a seasoned international admissions officer, where most universities do, they will be able to evaluate an IB student versus an A-level student, knowing full well how the A-level program works versus the IB level program, IB program, right? So in the sense that, okay, A-levels, it's you're taking maybe 3 different courses and they're very focused and so on, whereas the IB DP is quite a bit broader. Whether one has an advantage over the other because the students will come from different institutions and well, different pedagogies and mindsets, they won't be placed necessarily against one another in that sense.
I mean, it was certainly my experience in working with families in the A-level program historically that, you know, that the narrowing of choices and subjects at such a young age meant that if they wanted to switch focus when they were in grade 11 or 12, that option was out the window. Whereas IB, you've still got that opportunity to do that at a later stage if you wish to, and that was the significant advantage, or one of the significant advantages I think IB brought to the table when comparing the two.
Absolutely.
In terms of timeline and process, it's such an important thing. You know, sometimes we'll run seminars and sessions with parents, and you'll have grade 2 parents come and sit in because they want to know exactly what they're going to do. There's some anxiety that sits around this important issue, and clearly for us, the focus sits around the 9, 10, 11 stages. What should our students be doing at this time of the year? We're sort of sitting here in May. In grade 9, 10, 11, what are some practical things they could be doing regarding their timelines?
So it's a great question, and timelines are critical in this process, absolutely, so that you can avoid the grade 2 parents coming in and saying, how does my student start to write a university essay? So it depends on grade level. So if we start with, you know, grade 9s are moving into grade 10, and I'll be talking about this tomorrow, they should really be focusing on self-evaluation and understanding what that means. They should be focusing on the summer. What are they going to be doing this summer that is both productive but also a reflection of their interests? They should be trying something new. And they should be, when they come back in grade 10, developing their university timeline with milestones for each month. Grade 10, moving into grade 11, the process is starting. So this summer is going to be critical for them to be, again, engaging in a project or summer activity that's actually productive, perhaps actually taking a risk during that summer project, trying something new, and starting to research universities. Don't go it alone. Don't listen to what your neighbor's saying. Don't listen to what your friend's saying. I'm sure they're fabulous people, but they're not experts in the field. Yeah. Seek someone who actually knows how the process works, because you want to engage and go about the process based on how it works and how decisions are made in the admissions office.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to some more seminars this evening.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thanks.